Who would have thought? Zombie wasn't just one of the founders of the Divine Age civilization, he was actually its very first supreme throne. As Zombie and Vero's battle was over, the global disaster was finally put to rest. Zombie didn't just bring Violet back to life, he even fixed the moon. Once again, he showed humanity just how insanely powerful he was. But this time, nobody made a big deal out of it, and everyone just went back to their normal lives like nothing happened. Meanwhile, the 3-week-long running prisoner event wrapped up perfectly. Zombie's crushing victory transformed him into a full-blown national icon. At the Special Act Enforcement Bureau, the entire team was celebrating the flawless success of Zombie's idol project. It must be the King's vibe, fighting for humanity and all, that has completely changed how people see him. Dawn teased from the side, honestly, if it weren't for Vero, our whole plan would have worked out so well. We should really thank him. Hearing this, Butterfly looked utterly dejected. Please, don't even talk to me. I just want some peace and quiet right now. Just then, Department Head Chen walked in holding a stack of papers. We just got word from Country B. They sent an official letter to Zombie through diplomatic channels. Since their last prime minister ran off with a chunk of the elite class, the whole country's a mess. The Queen wants your king to come over and take the job as prime minister. Blackie frowned, looking confused. Wait, wasn't Country B all about wiping out zombies? Why are they suddenly pulling something like this? General Sausage chimed in, actually, our president just said the same thing. If Zombie's interested, he's ready to step down right now and let him take over. The sudden turn of events left Ago and the others totally dumbfounded. Wait, has everyone just fully embraced the king now? Weren't people rioting and protesting everywhere just a little while ago? In reality, Zombie's power was simply too much for anyone to handle. Whether it was resurrecting the dead or restoring the moon with a mere gesture, all of this was more than enough to make humanity abandon any thoughts of resisting him. Now, everyone is essentially worshipping him as their idol. Well, Blackie, I guess this means the king's dream of living peacefully with humans is finally coming true. I guess so. Just then, Department Head Chen asked, by the way, where's Zombie right now? Dawn answered, Violet's dealing with some side effects from being resurrected this time, so Zombie's out looking for a way to help her. Meanwhile, a warship sat still in a certain part of the ocean. Violet suddenly sped up, charging forward as attacks continued to rain down on her. It turned out that Zombie, now in his third form, was training her. Violet, try again. Push yourself to the limit in this fight. You've got to balance the spiritual energy of billions of people inside your mind. Hearing this, Violet immediately stopped, activated Zombie's genetic power, and kept unlocking more of his genes. Suddenly, a third eye popped open on her forehead. The next second, a bunch of weapons appeared around her, and she lunged straight at Zombie. In a flash, she was in front of him, swinging her blade down hard. Zombie ducked out of the way and said, not good enough. You've got to unlock more of my genes to toughen up your body so you can actually control all that spiritual energy inside you. Hearing this, Violet began fully unlocking Zombie's genes. But then, her mask cracked apart, and her face twisted in pain. Zombie let out a sigh, looking defeated. Yep, looks like it's gonna fail again. Right after he said that, Violet exploded with energy and went berserk, swinging wildly at Zombie. When she jumped and aimed for a massive slam with her sword, Zombie caught it with his bare hand. You've completely lost control of your spiritual energy. You're just swinging like crazy. I guess we're done for today. With that, Zombie exerted force, instantly crushing the blade. Then he switched to his fourth form, gave Violet a quick chop to the head. With a loud boom, Violet was sent crashing into the water. A little while later, Zombie showed up at the Special Act Enforcement Bureau with Violet in his arms. That's it for today's treatment. Dawn, go ahead and patch her up. Shortly after, in the infirmary, Dawn was blow-drying Violet's hair and asked, so, looks like it failed again today. Yeah, just like before. As soon as I try fully activating Zombie's genes, my body just starts falling apart. I can't keep the spiritual energy under control. Turns out, when Vero died, the pure spiritual energy from billions of people merged into Violet's consciousness during her resurrection, and now it's stuck there. If she can't strengthen her body to SSS-class zombie levels, she'll either get overwhelmed and explode, or straight up blow Earth into a giant donut. Thinking of this, Department Head Chen and Chief Chin gave Violet a deep bow. Please, for humanity's sake, keep working hard. Violet just stared at them, completely speechless. Easy for you to say. You're not the ones getting smacked around. I'm the one who has to get beaten up by Zombie every single day. Right then, Zombie came up with an idea. If physical strengthening isn't cutting it, why not try the Divine Age civilization's way of controlling spiritual energy? I've seen their cultivation techniques before, though it's been forever, so my memory's kinda fuzzy. As he said this, he casually opened his own skull and pulled out his brain. I can use this to create a dream world and take you back to that era to study. When everyone just stared at him like he'd lost it, Zombie looked confused. What? Is there something wrong with my plan? That's your brain. How can you just casually take something like that out? Meanwhile, in the palace of the Divine Age civilization, Nai, on the run, was pleading with the thrones. Lord Throne, they've captured Butterfly, and I'm being hunted down all over the place. Please, you've gotta help us. At that moment, Prince Kai, seated on the second throne, raised an eyebrow and asked, "Why are you the one giving the report? Where's Vero?" Lord Throne, the divine messenger has already been defeated by Zombie. His remains are scattered all over the solar system. I've got the battle information here for you. What an idiot. He really thought he could take on Zombie just by looking at some numbers. He totally brought this on himself. Just then, another person seated nearby chimed in, "Looks like Zombie hasn't changed. Anytime he needs to, he just pulls out an even stronger form." The speaker was Arya, seated on the third throne. Nai, still confused. Lord Throne, from everything I've seen so far, Zombie really does seem like he wants to live peacefully with humans. Is he actually still a threat to the world? So, even now, he claims he wants to coexist peacefully with human civilization. As he spoke, he looked toward the central throne. "Zombie, what about us, the ones you abandoned? What do we count for?" That seat was none other than the first throne of the Divine Age civilization, Zombie's position. Have you ever seen someone pour alcohol directly into their brain? Zombie, this foolish guy, actually started pouring alcohol into his own brain to numb it, and it seems his alcohol tolerance is pretty impressive. I'll go, hurry up, 2 more bottles should be enough. Watching this, Violet stared in total disbelief. I've seen people drink booze before, but this is the first time I've seen someone pour it directly into their brain. There's no other way. The memories from the Divine Age civilization are ancient, and I've forgotten most of them. Weirdly enough, though, when I drink too much, my dreams become much clearer. Right after he said that, Zombie's memories appeared before everyone's eyes. Wait, we can actually see your dreams. Also, are your dreams always projected like this? No, of course not. Usually, before bed, I drink some milk and do a little stretching to make sure I don't dream and just sleep like a rock. But there was this one time I got super drunk, blacked out, and, woke up to find I might have made a volcano. Hearing this, Dawn started inching away. This sounds dangerous. Can I leave now while there's still time? But before she could leave, Department Head Chen grabbed her and pushed her back down. Sit tight. We're here to collect critical intel. After Zombie dumped another bottle of booze into his brain, it started bubbling, each bubble popping up as a memory. Ah, the good old days. This one's from a birthday party with my brothers. Oh, and this one. That's when Varmint got drunk and caused trouble, so I had to teach him a lesson. And this one, yeah, that's when we, accidentally sank an entire continent during a fight. Hearing Zombie's stories, Violet and the others started sweating nervously. It feels like we've seen something we definitely shouldn't have. Zombie's not going to wipe us out or anything, right? Suddenly, Zombie shouted excitedly, I found it. The memories of the Divine Age civilization. Hearing this, everyone quickly crowded around. What they saw was a post-apocalyptic wasteland, where zombies roamed freely. To survive, humans built tall walls to create shelters. Compared to modern times, people back then weren't physically strong and lacked high-tech advancements. However, their spiritual power was exceptionally potent, with many born possessing supernatural abilities. Yet, that era also faced mindless but overwhelmingly powerful zombie kings, capable of wiping out entire shelters. So, humans back then pulled together their best fighters into hero squads to take out these terrifying zombie kings. The memories Zombie was showing started with him running into one of these squads. A white-haired boy was seen fleeing frantically from a zombie king. Hurry up, you guys. I told you the Tyrannosaurus zombie king was powerful, but you just had to go treasure hunting in its territory. Below him, 3 other humans were also fleeing for their lives. it's all your fault, Prophet. Didn't you say there was treasure in the lab? So why was it a brain-damaged zombie instead? At this moment, the white-haired boy pointed to the side with a shocked expression. Zombie, panting heavily, quickly caught up with them. Where's the zombie you were talking about? Couldn't you take me with you when you ran? Oh my god, why is this zombie running away with us? At that moment, the Tyrannosaurus zombie king began gathering a glowing energy ball in its mouth. The white-haired boy saw this and immediately panicked. Gonling, watch out behind you. Run. Before the words finished, the zombie king unleashed its most powerful energy blast towards Zombie and Gonling. Gonling turned around, her face filled with despair. With a deafening boom, the entire street was torn apart by the zombie king's attack, dust and debris flying everywhere. The other two were instantly blown away by the shockwave. Just when everyone thought Gonling was doomed, a sudden bang echoed as the zombie king's attack was stopped by something. As the dust cleared, Zombie was seen standing in front of Gonling, shielding her from the entire attack. Seeing this, everyone was utterly stunned. This zombie is actually saving someone. Watching this scene, Zombie chuckled foolishly. Ah, this really brings back memories. As Violet watched Zombie's intoxicated expression, she thought to herself, so Zombie had human friends in other eras as well. Suddenly, Zombie spoke with a serious tone. I remember this zombie king now. He was an incredibly powerful guy. Zombies of that era were all extremely strong, and I was just one of the countless zombie kings, a completely unremarkable one at that. Hearing this, Department Head Chen and the others were instantly terrified. Doesn't that mean there were hundreds or thousands of zombies? What kind of hell is this? Humans of that era had it way too hard. As they discussed, Zombie began to glow. The timeline has been confirmed. This is a good place to start the dream. Isn't it already playing? What more do you want to do? Our goal is to teach Violet the methods of controlling spiritual power from the Divine Age civilization. Just watching a recording won't cut it. Besides, dreams need to be immersive to truly work. As Zombie spoke, he directly reached into the memory bubble of the Divine Age civilization. With a brilliant flash of light, Violet's consciousness was pulled into the dream. The scene before her began to magnify, and she suddenly found herself landing right behind Zombie. What's going on? Did I just enter the dream like that? Now's not the time to space out. I've replaced my dream self, and your role is that of an esper passing by to help. At that moment, the Tyrannosaurus zombie king let out a roar and charged at the group. Zombie immediately took up a fighting stance. This guy is really strong. Don't let your guard down. Back then, it took my entire squad, and we were all seriously injured just to barely defeat it. Just wait for the right moment to act. With that, Zombie charged straight toward the zombie king. I'll hold him off. You guys seize the opportunity to attack. Although the white-haired boy wasn't sure whether Zombie was an ally or an enemy, he decided to deal with the Tyrannosaurus zombie king first. Everyone immediately unleashed their skills, looking for an opportunity to strike. Old rival, let's spar again. Zombie shouted as he punched the Tyrannosaurus zombie king. With a thunderous boom, the zombie king's massive body was instantly obliterated into pieces by Zombie's punch. Seeing this, everyone was completely stunned. Zombie, however, froze in place, utterly baffled. What's going on? Where's the powerful opponent that could actually injure me from my memory? After Zombie obliterated the Tyrannosaurus zombie king with one punch, the white-haired squad stood there, completely stunned, and immediately decided that Zombie was a terrifying monster. Meanwhile, Zombie looked just as confused. Wait a second, something's not right. How did that zombie king shatter so easily? I remember that back then, we had to throw everything we had at it just to barely defeat it. Violet chimed in. I mean, it has been thousands of years. Maybe you're just way stronger now than you were back then. Zombie shook his head immediately. No way. Sure, I've been working out and eating right all these years, but unleashing stronger power requires me to transform into a new form, and my personality changes a little during that as well. In my normal form, though, my strength isn't much different from what it was back then. For that thing to go down in one punch, was it faking it or something? While Zombie and Violet were caught up in conversation, they didn't notice Gonling sneaking off and signaling for her teammates to rescue her. Anyway, after a tough fight like that, I got to know these companions from this era. They're all super skilled espers. If you team up with them, you're bound to pick up how to use spiritual power. Right then, Violet spotted the white-haired boy grabbing Gonling and bolting. She pointed at them and said, if those are the companions you're talking about, why do they look like they're trying to get the hell out of here? Zombie just stood there, staring in silence as the group ran off and vanished without a trace. By evening, the white-haired squad had reached a dense forest. When they realized Zombie wasn't chasing them, everyone finally let out a sigh of relief. The white-haired boy couldn't contain his frustration. We finally got away, but seriously, what the hell was that zombie? It took down an S-class Tyrannosaurus zombie king with one punch. Yeah, his strength is far beyond anything we've seen from a zombie king before. But honestly, I don't think he's out to hurt us. He even saved me back there. The pink-haired girl waved her hand, using wind to sweep up the fallen leaves. Anyway, at least we got out safely. Then she casually lay down on the ground. Let's just crash here for the night. We'll continue the mission tomorrow. Later that night, the white-haired boy was whining non-stop about having to cook all alone. The pink-haired girl, still sprawled on the ground, groaned, "I'm not moving." The boy with glasses said he was too busy uploading their battle records, and Gong Ling, completely wiped out, muttered, "Don't even think about asking me. I can't even get up right now." Meanwhile, Zombie and Violet were crouched in the bushes, observing their every move. Since I don't have any experience fighting alongside them, I couldn't just slide into their team. But it's fine. I already know what their next mission is. They're heading to Fortress number 9 to take out the blazing zombie king, the one that's already trashed 3 cities. Once we're there, I'll gain the experience of fighting with them. Just don't overdo it next time. Don't scare them off again. Suddenly, the guy with glasses suddenly sensed something. Who's creeping around over there? Show yourself right now. Hearing this, Zombie and Violet immediately ducked lower. That guy with the glasses is the Prophet. His detection ability is incredibly sharp. As everyone stared at where Zombie was hiding, tiny sparks started floating in the air. The guy with glasses noticed the burning leaves, paused for a moment, and then shot up to warn the group, "It's the blazing zombie king. Stay sharp, everyone." Right after he said that, a huge shadow appeared in front of them, and a figure stepped out of the bushes. It was none other than their target, the blazing zombie king. The blazing zombie king roared so loud that the whole sky lit up with flames. Then it launched a giant fireball straight at the group. The pink-haired girl quickly raised her hand, whipped up a wind spear with her powers, and sent it flying with a whoosh, blowing the fireball away in an instant. The zombie king burst into laughter. Well, you managed to block my attack. Not bad at all." But before he could finish his sentence, a barrage of light beams shot through the flames, heading straight for him. The white-haired boy seized his chance and leapt into the air, preparing for a sneak attack. Meanwhile, the zombie king gathered energy in his hand and, with a swift whoosh, effortlessly wiped out all the incoming attacks. As they witnessed his formidable power, shock filled everyone's faces. "Pathetic. You seriously think you can take me down with this weak power?" The blazing zombie king roared once more, unleashing an even more intense wave of flames that engulfed the entire area. "Damn! This guy's incredibly strong. It doesn't matter. We managed to complete the cover mission." Right then, the white-haired boy leaped into the air, raised his leg high above his head, and slammed it down onto the zombie king. With a resounding boom, his attack struck the zombie king's shoulder with such force that the ground caved in, sending debris flying in all directions. But a second later, the white-haired boy froze in shock. The zombie king didn't even have a scratch. Instead, it reached out and tried to grab his leg. Panicking, the boy quickly jumped back to get some distance. While the group was still reeling from the fact that even such an attack couldn't defeat the zombie king, it suddenly started forming a massive, deadly fireball. "If that's all you've got, let me just burn you all to ashes." But just then, Zombie appeared out of nowhere, flashing right in front of the blazing zombie king. "Who are you? Scram, or I'll kill you." Zombie ignored the threat completely. Carefully holding back his strength, he gave the zombie king a light tap on the belly. "Okay, that should be the perfect amount of force this time, right?" When Zombie showed up, the whole team froze in shock. "Wait, has this zombie been tailing us this entire time?" Just as Zombie thought he could finally join the squad, cracks began to form where he had tapped the blazing zombie king. Then, in an explosive burst, the zombie king shattered into a million pieces. The squad just stood there, completely stunned. Then, suddenly, they all dropped to their knees and begged, "Please don't kill us, Lord Zombie. We didn't mean to upset you." Zombie was on the verge of tears. "I just want to be your teammate. Why is it so hard?" The scene cut to the white-haired boy crouched next to a building. Suddenly, a massive foot slammed down right behind him. Turns out, it was a zombified wild boar, their target, the tusked zombie king. As soon as the white-haired boy issued the command, two figures instantly materialized above the tusked zombie king. The prophet and the purple-haired girl swiftly activated their powers and unleashed an attack on the tusked zombie king. With a loud boom, the tusked zombie king, caught off guard, got hit and was instantly tied up by the prophet's light beams. The white-haired boy whipped out his lightsaber and charged in. With a sharp swish, he slashed at the zombie king, but the attack barely caused any damage. As he landed and turned around, the white-haired boy saw the tusked zombie king let out a furious roar, stomp the ground to break free from the light beams, and charge at him like a freight train. The white-haired boy stood there, stunned, but then Violet, now in her second form, stepped in front of him. "I'll handle this one." With that, she drew the blade at her waist and unleashed a lightning-fast slash at the tusked zombie king. As her blade collided with the zombie's tusks, a massive boom shook the street, sending up a thick cloud of dust and dirt. When the dust settled, Violet had been pushed back dozens of meters by the zombie king's powerful charge. What terrifying strength! Is this what zombie kings from the ancient era were like? It feels as though each one is as strong as zombies' minions. While Violet held off the tusked zombie king, the white-haired boy seized the opportunity to soar into the air. The purple-haired girl quickly joined him in midair. Together, they unleashed their strongest attack on the zombie king. With a loud bang, their attack blasted straight through the tusked zombie king's head, and just like that, it lost all signs of life. The white-haired boy and the rest landed behind Violet. "Everyone good? Thanks to Violet, the mission is finally complete. You were able to face the zombie king head-on. Letting you join the team was definitely the right call, but such a powerful strength-type superpower. How come we've never heard of it before? Maybe it's just that my power is a bit specific." But at that moment, the prophet suddenly sensed something and quickly warned the group, "Watch out to the right." As soon as he finished speaking, another tusked zombie king burst through a building, launching an attack on them. Upon seeing this, everyone quickly dodged out of the way. But just as the zombie king charged forward, it suddenly skidded to a stop, turned its head, and began sniffing the air. The group immediately tensed up. "Damn! It smells us. What an incredible sense of smell. It's a pair of zombie kings. No wonder the other squads never made it back." Just as everyone, exhausted from the previous battle, felt that facing another zombie king would be tough, the white-haired boy stepped forward. He was ready to use his speed to distract the zombie king and give his teammates a chance to escape. But before he could finish convincing them, Zombie suddenly leapt in front of the tusked zombie king and punched it straight in the tusk. The prophet and the others were about to tell the white-haired boy to look behind him, but before they could, Zombie had already taken down the zombie king. Watching this, Violet thought to herself, "With this guy around, I'm not sure if they should feel safe or worried." After completing the mission, the white-haired boy and the others brought Zombie and Violet to the Human Esper Association. Congratulations to Team 23 on completing the mission. Personnel confirmed: S-Class Esper Prince Kai, S-Class Esper Arya, A-Class Esper Prophet, B-Class Esper Gon Ling, plus 2 accompanying individuals. Thank you for your contribution to humanity. And just like that, Zombie and Violet managed to enter the Esper Association. After saying goodbye to Prince Kai and others, Zombie strolled down the street, feeling pretty good about himself. Violet spoke up quietly, "Even after fighting alongside your old teammates, I still haven't learned how to use spiritual power like they do. I've just been relying on my physical strength this whole time. In this era, that counts as a strength-type ability. That's why I wanted you to tag along and get here." The Esper Association is humanity's biggest safe zone in the wasteland. It's also where they study and test all kinds of spiritual power abilities. Hearing this, Violet began to take a closer look at the people around them. She noticed that everyone was giving Zombie curious looks. Violet leaned in and reminded him, "Zombie, are you sure it's okay to stroll around here like this? Back when you went to the academy, you disguised yourself as a human wearing a zombie mask." Back in the Divine Age, I didn't have much experience interacting with humans, so I did run into a lot of trouble. I even got mistaken for an invading zombie once and almost got set on fire. Luckily, Prince Kai and the others staked their lives to vouch for me, which earned me humanity's trust, and I was recognized as a zombie-type Esper. After that, we embarked on an adventure to eradicate the source of the zombie tide, eventually defeating the primordial demon that caused the apocalypse and becoming world-saving heroes. They're trustworthy companions, so leave dealing with the humans of this era to them. But in the very next second, Zombie was arrested on the spot. Turns out, upon learning about such a powerful being wandering the streets, the refuge's high-ranking officials nearly had a heart attack. Since they couldn't tell if he was a friend or foe, they made Prince Kai and the team lock him up for now. Looks like your one-hit kills on those zombie kings didn't win you any friends. You just freaked everyone out instead. I didn't mean for this to happen. How was I supposed to know those zombie kings would shatter so easily? Forget it, this attempt is a bust. I'll start another memory simulation. This time, I'll begin from when you first met Prince Kai and the others. As Zombie said that, he prepared to head back to the real world. But when he opened his eyes, he realized he was still stuck in the dream. He jumped up, balanced on one leg, and yelled, "Wake up." But nothing happened, everything remained exactly the same. Watching Zombie's weird antics, Violet just stared at him. "What the hell are you doing? You look like an idiot." Violet, we've got a slight problem here. I don't think I can wake up." Violet was instantly shocked. "A slight problem? We're stuck in a dream from thousands of years ago, and you're calling that a slight problem?" Meanwhile, back in the real world, the department head stared at Zombie's brain and asked, "So, ever since he started dreaming, he and Violet just vanished? Is this normal?" "Well, since it's Zombie's memories, I guess it's not surprising if strange things happen." But before they could finish their conversation, strange patterns began forming on the zombie's brain. Right after that, a terrifying energy exploded out of it. In the blink of an eye, a giant spatial rift tore open in the sky above the city. While everyone was still dumbfounded, they suddenly began to float. The spatial rift emitted a terrifying suction force, pulling people and buildings alike into it. Staring at Zombie's brain devouring everything around it, Department Head Chen and Dawn were in total shock. "Damn it, we're gonna get sucked in too. Is this seriously normal?" Meanwhile, ever since Zombie saved Earth, H-City had returned to its former, thriving self. As a result, reporters immediately flocked to H-City for street interviews. They discovered that countless humans were now living peacefully alongside zombies, and Zombie had become a total favorite with kids. Everyone saw him as a world-saving hero. Ladies and gentlemen, it's clear that everyone here is getting along just fine. It seems humans and zombies really can live together in peace. But before the reporter could finish, a giant rift suddenly tore open in the sky. With a deafening rumble, the rift sucked up the entire city. Then, with a massive boom, it crashed into a completely unfamiliar world. When the reporter came to and tried to call the director, they realized there was no satellite signal, and the road they had come from had somehow turned into a cave. While they were still trying to figure out what had happened, a creepy rustling noise echoed from deep inside the cave. Suddenly, a horde of zombies came charging out, lunging straight at them. Wait, weren't H-City's zombies supposed to be friendly to humans? What's going on? Just when they thought it was all over, Ago came crashing down from the sky with a huge boom, landing right behind them. The zombies froze in place, startled by his sudden appearance. "The king ordered me to protect every human." With that, Ago reached into a crack in the ground, yanked up the entire road, and slammed it down on the zombies, caving in the entire cave in the process. After finishing everything, Ago gave the reporters a thumbs up and said, "All done on my side, the people attacked by those wild zombies are safe. Oh, and I sealed off the entrance to the outside world while I was at it. The city's surrounded by giant rocks now, so there shouldn't be any open entrances left. How's it looking on your end?" Meanwhile, Dawn was wildly firing a Gatling gun at the sky, instantly riddling the attacking zombie birds with bullets. "Can someone explain what the hell is happening? Why are there so many hostile zombies all of a sudden?" Agon responded, "It's probably because we poured too much alcohol into the king's brain, causing the entire H-City to be sucked into the king's memory world. In the real world, H-City's location is probably just a giant crater now. Also, the king's dream world is indistinguishable from reality. If we die here, we'll die in the real world too." Hearing this, Dawn dodged the attacks of the zombie birds while asking how to resolve the crisis. The answer she received was that they needed to find Zombie here and make him wake up on his own. Meanwhile, on the other side of H-City, the sudden arrival of H-City in the wasteland world alarmed the nearby zombie hordes, causing a massive tide of zombies to surge toward H City. Facing the zombie tide trying to breach the giant rocks, the department head activated his golden right hand and instantly fended off their first wave of attacks. A tiny zombie clung to his mom, trembling in fear. "Mom, are the zombies gonna eat us?" A nearby human uncle looked completely confused. "Wait, aren't you guys zombies too?" As the zombie tide continued its assault, the department head and his team were unable to block them all. A few zombies broke through their defenses and began chasing zombies and humans everywhere. Watching the chaos, the department head asked helplessly, "Aren't you zombies too? Can't you just talk it out with them?" "That won't work. The zombies in our world have had centuries of education and training under the king, they're no different from humans. But back before the king established order, other than the zombie kings, ordinary zombies were nothing more than brainless creatures." As the department head stood there stumped, Ago suddenly showed up behind him. "Don't worry, Agon and I both come from the Divine Age civilization, so we're quite familiar with the rules of this era." Then, without warning, he plunged his hand into his chest, and in an instant, his bones began to grow with a series of cracking sounds. In seconds, he activated his second form, his entire body covered in bones. He let out a roar toward the front. "Come on, you bastard." At the back of the zombie horde, an aberrant zombie king let out a deafening roar. Agon walked up to Dawn and said, "As expected, this zombie tide is being controlled by a zombie king overlord. As long as Ago can take it down in a one-on-one fight, he'll become the new leader of this horde. You think he can handle it on his own?" Dawn asked worriedly, recalling that Zombie had mentioned how powerful the zombie kings of this era were. Suddenly, a human face appeared on Ago's chest. "Relax. It's just a zombie king. Back when I was in the Esper Association, I did this kind of thing all the time." On the other side, Zombie was scratching his head in frustration, because he still couldn't wake up. "What do I do? Humans are terrifying. What if they torture me?" Just then, a voice came from nearby. "So you're the weird zombie from the report that's supposedly friendly with humans?" A woman in a military uniform walked toward them. It was Greta, the security officer in charge of interrogating Zombie. But when the zombie saw Greta, he got unusually excited. "Great. It's the Ago of this era. Ago, let me out already. I remember you held a pretty high rank in the association. Hurry up. Help me get a nice place to live, and sort out Violet's training too. Ago, are you even listening to me? Ago, answer me already." Greta immediately lost it. "Who the hell are you? Acting all chummy right off the bat. And who gave you permission to call me by my nickname? You got a death wish or something?" Meanwhile, Violet mumbled Ago's name while sizing up Greta. Then, it clicked, and her whole worldview shattered. "Ago? Are you saying this beautiful woman is Ago?"